welcome to the Marty and Patty show. Uh, Tonight we have a very interesting topic. But first, I want Marty to go ahead and greet you, and then we'll jump right into the show.
Hello, everyone. I'm Marty, and we are looking forward to this high-packed conversation tonight.
Go ahead and continue. Go ahead and introduce the show.
Girl, the show is reinventing ourselves. No, I'm sorry, reintroducing ourselves. And Tabby and I, we were talking, and as a teacher, I wanted to really highlight the importance of our children knowing who they are, their ancestors, and what we all have accomplished in this great country we call ours. And in educating them, not only would they have pride in their ancestors and what we've done, basically pick up the mantle and run with it. But they can't do that if they don't know. So I just think it's time that we reintroduce ourselves to our younger generation.
So you're saying that reintroduce or reconnect? Because that's what it sounds like.
Both. Because we're quite disconnected.
Mm-hmm.
By design, of course.
Right.
But, you know.
Yeah, and when you say we need to reintroduce ourselves, the first thing that's just a full statement. And so first thing come to mind is who is the ourselves? Who is ourselves?
It's Black people, African Americans, whatever you like to call yourself. We understand that it is only in our unity that we can accomplish the greatness that we once did. And we're so divided.
But we're divided based off of our views, because even back during the Black Panther party, and I was just reading up on the guest that we have, and in the summary I was reading up with her, they even were saying that the Black Panther Party was everyone. So we didn't separate LGBTQ. We didn't,
right.
Anything that was Black was a part of the movement, bottom line.
Right. Exactly. And
so that's a part of, I feel like, the disconnect, where we have, because whereas we have these different advocacies that we want to see within the Black community, we don't continue to do it together, and we allow one to preference over the other need, and just gets a bit tangled. So.
Well, I mean, I found myself in that mindset, and it was something I read by Malcolm X, which made a lot of sense. You Black first.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So when you start looking at like all of the police brutality and everything that's basically have exploded on the world stage, when it comes to us, they will say, I was Christian, or I was in the military. They have all these things, I guess, that they felt shielded them from this. At the end of the day, you Black first.
Mm-hmm.
So going back to what you're saying, once we understand that, it doesn't matter nothing. You Black
Mm-hmm.
first.
Mm-hmm.
So, hopefully, like I said, let's get back to that whole reintroduction of who we are.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely agree 100% that we have lost ourselves as a people. I look at all those the history pictures of the people that they say were, segregated and, left out. They look better than us now.
Right,
So
exactly.
so tell me, what was they doing in the 1920s and 30s and 40s that we need to be putting back into it now? The 60s, before segregation, what were we doing? Obviously we wasn't being supported heavily.
We were all on the same page, whatever we were doing. We had the same vision. So, when I see us like burying our babies, like this is some normalcy, it's just like mind boggling. Are we not the adults? Or they're not our future? You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So I think that was central was the future,
Mhm.
and during that time, everybody got around the babies because that's the future.
Mhm.
But since we're burying them so quick, it's like, oh, well, we're numb to it and we shouldn't be. So,
Right. And
yeah,
and I mean, I don't know if I'll say necessary numb because
we're numb.
once it hit one of our families, we ain't numb no more. But I
That's right.
guess we numb to others is what
Right.
I would say is that we're numb to others and what's going on when those tragic things happen because
Mm-hmm.
it does destroy more than one family when they happen. You know, you got to look at everybody involved. You got to look at the fact that more than likely they went to kindergarten together. You know, this is deep. Families know families. You know, and then so you have a murder, whether some one or the other killed one or other. There's two young lives destroyed, and then there's a whole lot of turmoil within the families as well. You know, especially when well, it's one thing when they don't even go solve. You know, when they're not solved. So
Right.
that's another thing. It's one thing you know the person that did it, and it's even a worse thing to not know who did it. So
Right. Right.
you
Well, I
know,
mean,
but overall, I had saw this video earlier, but I was playing around with this computer so long. But in the 30s, I believe,
mhm.
and talking about the struggle that they had to face after the Great Depression,
Okay.
and they were still all nicely dressed, and you know. And I look at this stuff, and I'm like, okay, this was depressed. Well, what are we today if they was depressed back then? You know, something ain't right.
Well, honestly, even once again, it goes back to that whole unity and same page. Even during the depression, even all of these major events in our lives or whatever, what we've read about, at the end of the day, the center was the babies, the future. So the shift came when they entered our schools and when they entered our homes and came up with these laws that now we're calling toxic.
Hmm.
My grandmother is toxic, my family's toxic, and in this country we have always had to do things differently as black people, always. And honestly, nothing's different today,
Hmm.
except this generation is a lot freer to express themselves and say whatever's on their mind. But we're burying kids quicker and faster than any generation.
And that's not promising to our future. Am I right on that?
Right. Exactly. So,
I think I found the little video. It's about a 2 minute video. I'm
okay.
gonna try to play it. Hopefully, it plays on the first try. So, give me just a minute. I'm gonna hit the share button now. Let's see what happens.
Alrighty.
All right.
Radios, they heard not only the president, but also his wife. Host of a twice weekly radio program, Eleanor Roosevelt became known as a tireless advocate of the poor and downtrodden. Within the White House, Eleanor Roosevelt helped African Americans gain access to her husband. Thanks in large part to Eleanor's influence, a so called Black Cabinet advised the president for the first time in United States history. African Americans continued to face massive administration's Blue Eagle codes allowed employers to fire blacks and replace them with white workers. Bitter African Americans joked that the NRA was the Negro Removal Act, and the New Deal's poor relief often failed to reach African Americans.
Yeah, Mr. President, would you please direct the people in charge of the relief work to issue the provisions to our suffering colored people. I'm sorry to worry you with this, Mr. President, but the relief officials here give us black folks nothing but a few cans of pickled meat. And to white folks, they give blankets, boats of cloth, and things like that. Yours truly. I can't sign my name, Mr. President. They will beat me up and run me away from here. And this is my home.
Wow.
Franklin Roosevelt never supported
Right.
African Americans as strongly as Eleanor did. Over the protests of his black cabinet and his own wife, the President of the United States refused to support a federal law to fight lynching. Since Southerners occupied strategic places on most of the Senate and House committees, Roosevelt believed that introducing an anti lynching bill would cause the Southerners to block every bill he had asked Congress to pass. He would not take the risk.
Okay, I'm
Yep.
gonna stop it right there. Yeah. So there we
Sound
go.
like today.
You know,
Hmm.
yep. And so that's why I say we're in this ever cycling everything. So here it is, this history nerd that's been studying this thing. Like I'm 43. I've been on this thing since I was like 18 and really strong since I was like 27. And so
Hmm.
I'm 43 now. I'm like, dang, because
What's changed?
in between my 27 years and to 43rd year, I have invested at least 8 of those years in simulation research to basically understand what I wouldn't be able to understand had I just went the way America said went without understanding things from the inside out.
Right.
And so, I'm a black belt now. I feel that black belt power. I was
Hmm.
looking at a video, and the video said the lion rules the animals and the eagle rules the birds. And it's not because the lion, because look at an elephant. The elephant will be scared if you see the lion. Why? Because the lion has this attitude,
Hmm.
and so it's all about taking on this certain attitude and meaning it. And that's where
Right.
I'm at. And so I'm not looking to ball down to keep friends. I'm not looking to, all that other stuff because I have, like, they say you can see the prize, keep your eye on the prize. I have my eye on the
Right.
prize. I know what it looks like and I know what it's not. And so,
Hmm.
you know, going back to our subject at hand, reintroducing ourselves, it's just like, okay, some people don't even know where to even guide themselves to find themselves.
Right.
And so we have those people, you know, um, how do we, and it's just going to have to be a collective effort of reaching everybody where they're at is what I'm getting at. Because
Okay.
again, I don't expect to meet everybody in there a black belt to this thing.
Right.
But what I do want to do and what I am screening and what I am, I guess if you want to call it a bias, is that you got to want to have a will first because with no will, there's no way.
Hmm.
And, I'm reaching, I want to reach, but I know that it's only way people are going to unify is if they have the will to unify. And everybody's not going to be able to reach one or another. And I've said this before. And so I'm not trying to reach the ones that you're supposed to reach. And vice
Right.
versa. You're not supposed to reach the ones that I'm supposed to reach. And the next leader. But what we're supposed to do is keep the information afloat. If we can do group economics amongst ourselves like they did before, we do that. But we
Hmm.
got to basically really somehow chime in to the fact that people got to know we're not asking you to change anything of what you're doing. We're just saying link in.
Right.
Make sure that you stay informed.
That's
If we all take up so
what
long
does
that it's like
what does
I'm
stand. I was going to say, what does stand informed look like when they're basically not taught?
well. First
What
of
does
all, remember that will. You can't teach nobody until that will is wanting to be taught. So
Okay.
that's the first thing, and that's where I'm at. I'm willing to teach anyone a civic process, or even talk any politics out with them to make them understand better. But I'm not in for wasting a whole lot of I won't say a time, but
Mhm.
I kind of began, because we are black belts, it's certain people that you will work with, and there's certain people that we train will work with. And
Okay.
so that's how I'm seeing it. And this is, like I said, this is the same motions as the Black Panther, and other different successful organizations that really successfully organize their communities. And so we're not supposed to, one person is not supposed to organize everyone, and everyone is not supposed to organize around one person. That's not a
Right.
movement.
Well, okay,
And
so let me ask you this because we we see time and time again, especially black women,
hmm
that go into these boots and we carry this entire country on our backs, necks, and shoulders
hmm
and have no, I guess, expectations of justice and equality.
I don't
You
say
know,
we don't. No, let's not say no expectations. Say they don't know what to push, because some people some
how
people
you
ask
not know
for,
what to push when we're living this? I don't buy
because
that.
I'm about to explain it to you.
Okay.
So I won't call them that they have no expectations. They have low expectations. It's a difference.
Okay.
And because of the conditioning. So a lot of them don't believe that the things that they know we deserve and we should have automatically will ever come, will ever be that way. So they take the cop out of whatever. Okay, well, this is good enough. So I call them low expectations.
Okay.
They settle pretty much, and till somebody else, like one of us, push a needle and say "ho," and they already thinking it.
Uh-huh.
They're just
Right.
not willing to stand up and fight and be the lead of it. They will
Okay.
eventually join in when they see people out here, and they're like, "Oh, they still doing it,"
Hmm.
and don't let a couple white faces join with us, and then, oh, okay, white people say it's okay, so we might be all
Right.
right to join, and
Hmm.
that's okay. But they join behind us, not in front of us. It's the key. And so, I've been doing a lot of talk on Facebook the last week about Black liberation, about what happened with the MLK movement and the white liberals, and then somebody had to say, well, don't call out the white liberals if you don't call out the black liberals. And
Yep.
then my good friend sent me a video that made perfect sense in the world, and the young lady was on the video talking about, watching a white lady be trial that had went against the status quo, and basically the status quo didn't have any sympathy on her, so they roasted her. And they were
Uh-huh.
saying, like, so you watch that, you watch a white person get roasted, you don't stand a white woman, you don't stand a chance if they can't get through to it. So, with that being said, what's the point in study fighting white supremacy when the real antidote is the economics? Because I don't care who you are, when you do have some economics in this country, you could almost buy that respect. And so that's why I'm really pushing for the reparations, because that's going to
Yep.
also help us find us. Because with reparations, should come free genetic testing to find out exactly who we are, so we can identify correctly. I was kind of like, I called the lady in the nail spa the other day, and well, I asked her, what was her, and I called her Asian. She's like, no, I'm Vietnamese. I'm like, well, you Asian. No, I'm Vietnamese. And I don't know if it's because Stop Asian Hate is going around and she didn't want no parts of Asia now. But she wouldn't let me call her Asian. She said, no, Chinese. She said, no, Chinese took, and she started telling me the story. Like, she's like, no, 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 we ain't in that. Don't call me Asian. So, all that to say, just looking at that, it's just, I don't know. I lost my thought. I was going somewhere with that, but I started thinking about that little lady. But she didn't. She didn't want to stop top Asian. But overall, yeah, I know where I'm going. But she was able to identify herself
Uh-huh.
beyond being an Asian. We can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
We can't call out what exactly tribe we're from, what
Right.
exactly country we're from.
Mm-hmm.
They say they got DNA testing that will prove it now. So why haven't America made sure that we identify every American that we've had enslaved descendants to identify to make sure that they know where they're from? If
Because
we really or truly wanted to identify, and that wouldn't cost America a lot of money at all, honestly. Only they throw out to study us. Think about it.
mm-hmm.
Why wouldn't they want to help us identify?
Because they need us to keep holding it up. They ain't trying to help us do nothing progressively, obviously.
They want
We
us to
still
vote.
holding
They come in our neighborhoods by the droves.
up anyway. And don't do
They
nothing
want
once
us to
they get
vote.
in. Right. So we got your vote.
Right.
And that's it to next election.
But we all get excited. We see the candidates. They have all those good speeches. They say exactly what we are saying, what we want to hear. And then they go in there and I don't know what happened.
Well, I mean, when you start looking on, like, let's say our ancestors when they were voting and fighting for the right to vote, uh once again, they were all on the same page. You know, they were living amongst each other. So I have issues with they were fighting and wanting all of this, I guess, freedom to be around white people. I hate to hear that because I doubt it if that was the whole goal.
They want
You
to
know,
do what white people were doing. They want to live like the white people were living. That's
well,
why you
now our
saw
young people are
us.
doing it. Now
Well,
our
you
young people are doing it.
no, but that's why you saw us dressing up and all of that, and basically following the class of society that they set forth to be able to mimic.
And you see just how our whole community is deteriorated.
Because yeah, we were better segregated. And I tell that
Exactly.
to anyone. I'm like, look,
Anybody. Yep.
I said we were better segregated. We were without the resources. But like I said, now I've discovered this new term that I'm throwing around that I've created, I guess, because I don't hear nobody else throwing it around. Non-economic liberalism. So basically, the resources we were asking for, you still managing them. Like you helped us basically, okay, brain drain the community. So all the people that could get out got out and went to communities that more than likely didn't want them there, but because they
Right.
had the money, they could come. We seen the movies. I mean, look at I don't know if you've seen that movie Them on Prime, but it's a really good series. You should watch it. And it
Mm-hmm.
and it talks about a couple that left Georgia and went to California, and the California people were doing everything to get them out. How can an inn buy a house? Like you're not human. And it
Right.
was a really deep series, probably about 10 episodes or something like that. And it just had you really thinking and looking like, wow, wow. But at the same time, they stayed there and fought because it was worse where they had left. So you
Wow.
dang go if you do, you dang if you don't. But it's time for us to go ahead and start back learning ourselves and reintroducing ourselves to those moral and values that work, that help
Right.
propel our neighborhoods, that help propel our culture, that help propel our heritage. And that's something that we have not been very comfortable being able to just embrace our heritage, be able to embrace the Black English that we speak amongst each other, no matter
Uh-huh.
what we speak in public,
Uh-huh.
and be Black, and that's where we have to be. That's how we gonna know who we are when we able to be us all the time and not us sometimes. Like
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the Black women, because they're educated in these spaces, that honestly they can't probably be them like they would be when they're around somebody Black.
Right.
So
Right. Isn't
and,
that crazy?
but guess what? But I'm a living testimony. You're a living testimony that the way you speak when you're around Black people is the way you speak when you're around white people. So
Damn
that
right.
means that
Fuck
so that,
them.
and they don't run from you, right?
Well, in the school system, ain't got nowhere to run. Shit. You come in my room, you getting me.
Right. And that's where I'm at. I don't do a lot of talking, so they won't get me. That's my tactic of dealing with people is if you don't want to talk, don't come over smiling in my face talking a little bit of nothing. Cause you're gonna get a
Okay.
whole lot of something. Look at
For real.
you see this little sweet innocent face. Uh-huh. Yeah. Don't let the Pentecostal fool you.
For
Because a
real.
lot of people that came and got in my face thinking, I'm like, they're like, oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Um, um, um,
Mhm.
I'm having fun doing these shows.
Me too.
Because we're gonna be able to look back at this. We get ready to do some groundwork. Um, I'm like I said, I'm just waiting on you to get back with me. So whenever you tell me whatever you decided is not working, then I'll go over to a couple people I know, whether it be um my own personal church home or just a partner church that been offering me to partner anyway. So we'll
Okay.
get somewhere where we can do the movie. But I'm sure my sister would be fine because we're getting ready to do a paint class there as well. So
Okay. Cool.
and you invite that actually Gary's leading that paint class.
Oh Lord.
So
You can do some.
my husband can paint. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so it'd be a free paint class. Supply. Oh, the girls can come too. Anyway, look at us. We are. Anyway, this is really our phone conversation. Our show is really our phone conversation. So,
All the
I,
time, right?
so I'm all right with with us being natural. But I wanted to talk to people. Because most people like, well, what are you still talking about? I'm fine. Honestly, like I would be fine. Honestly, if I would have went in the route that or took advantage of some of the many opportunities that I've had coming my way,
Right.
um, by way to me is now temptation more so than opportunity. Just saying. Um,
Right.
think about it. It's more temptation than opportunity at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Um, And I'm just like, no, I didn't went this far. I might as well push it to the edge and see what happens. And
Right.
nobody should be coming to take your baby if you don't want it to adopt it. So if I'm about to have a baby and I'm about to birth, then I want my baby. And
Right.
so that's why I see we're gonna be birthing. I know we're gonna be birthing something great by the end of this year. Everything is just being plugged up right now, and I'm loving it because you don't rush anything that you're doing in perfection and that you want to stabilize and make sure that it continues on.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm happy about that, but I want to go back and just start thinking about ourselves. I asked you the question:
Okay.
who is the ourselves? You know, when you think and you say all black people, and that's a broad thing, and then some African people that see us because a lot of people around the country have supported us and understand us because they look just like us. But again, they are those people that actually can account for their heritage, understand their lineage, and
Mm-hmm.
know who they are. Although we're more than likely highly connected to them, but we're not connected because we're Americans,
Right.
So,
So prideful.
so
So prideful too.
yeah, and
All
we
the time.
different. We different kind of black people though. Like, I mean, black people in America are definitely
Special.
because of the yeah, because of the influence of American. We do have that on us, and so I tell people all the time, I got some patriotism in me. I love America. I don't. I love what I've learned about America. I hate. Let me make sure. I'm glad I ain't on no national show talking this. Um,
You're in a
I'm.
World Wide Web.
I know anybody can see me, right?
Right.
But that's why I'm making sure that what I'm saying is making sure if I need to pull it back. But I what am I trying to say?
You're breaking up.
I I love people, and I see. Okay, you see me? Can you see me?
Nah, you frozen. You frozen. Okay.
Okay. All right. So, like I was saying, I love people. Generally, love people. I do see color. I'd be lying if I told you I didn't see color because I tried to pretend to be colorblind some years back. It didn't work out very well. Um, but I definitely see color, but I see souls and I see personalities and I see people that understand the struggle. I just feel like I wouldn't go jump into a person of Asian descent and jump ahead. I would go support them in whatever liberation they were trying to fight to because I've never been Asian, so I don't know the full story, but I have been black and I am black. And so that's why I fight for black people because I know the story, and now I have uh, taken the time off from my fun and my everything to understand it. And so,
Mhm.
and so I tell people, I'm like, so that's why I'm pro black. It doesn't mean I hate anyone or anything like that, but I love my race and I'm tired of this history study circulating as it is. And the same thing. It's the same thing, just different players, different times.
Let me ask you this, because it's like you had to mention, you know, you pro black but not anti. How is it that everybody else can just let us know they anti us, and then when it comes to us, we'll say we're pro us, but I'm not anti. I'm anti at this point right now. I'm anti because it's the appeasement. It's this, I guess, this forgiving and all of this stuff that to me have us right where we are right now.
And I'm
Everybody
not, no, my anti don't mean that though.
has
Mm-mm.
okay. I
No,
just wanted
my,
clarity.
no, 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 no.
No.
That's why I'll never be a black boule or whatever they call it,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm always talking like it's not that. When I say anti, meaning that I don't hate anyone. I love my people, and I actually love my people a whole lot, an extra lot more than probably the average black person loves their black people.
Right.
And so that's what I mean by pro. And what I mean by anti is just that, is that I don't hate nobody. It doesn't mean that because the minute I say I'm pro, so I like I said, I just explained to you what I mean by pro, because I love my people more than a lot of black people love black people. Seriously. I mean, some black people love
You chopping up?
other people. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can see you now.
All right, so I said you can be pro whatever you want to be. I could be pro white right now if I want to be. I could be pro Asian. I know people that are pro these and pro that, and they're black. I'm just choosing my proness to be for black people. That's all.
Mine
I,
too.
I love my people, and so no, I'm not praying and asking for forgiveness for stuff I didn't do. No, I ain't talking about the anti that. No.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I
I'm
just
like,
don't hate nobody because there's some blacks that really hate white people, and sometimes they have
I can see
reasons that
why.
they.
I have to really like guard myself. I can actually see why we do everything we supposed to do. I'm sorry, I don't know how to do this little screen thing, but I mean, and we the things that that's put up on us. Everybody knows that it shouldn't be. Everybody knows it's illegal. It's immoral,
Mhm.
lacking in dignity, and yet and
Mhm.
still we have the audacity to say, "I don't hate it." How long do
Mhm.
we work and can't provide? How long,
Mhm.
our kids go to these failed schools that they legislate, mind you, and then don't
Mhm.
even teach them who they are? I mean, I could easily, now that my eyes are open, I could see how people hate them. I really do. Cause I mean, to go into a school building and you hear and I'm seeing my whole future deteriorate before my eyes, but you understand you and yours is fine off of us.
Living
That
good,
that, that would
but
rise
that's
up in
that's
me.
what happened. That's what happened when we desegregated things. Is
Right. Right.
The resources that they agreed to give us still inadvertently went somewhere else, is going somewhere else, and they make sure that they give it to organizations so it can stay funneled. Really, they don't want to give us no money to actually make sure, because they know we're more than likely going to uplift each other,
Exactly.
so they
Mhm.
have to funnel it into these large white organizations, put a couple black faces, take a couple
Right.
pictures, and say, "Look, we did it." But no, you got all this money. You couldn't have did that much.
And I'm stepping out my door, seeing what I'm seeing. No, you ain't doing nothing for mine.
Or all these grassroots people.
Yep.
They they are making more of an impact with less, and that's what I'm saying. I continue to say there's no there is no everybody know the what it will take to fix their community, but
Right.
they don't have the resources,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't even know the resources are being given to other people. When they see that BS that be going on in those communities,
Right.
they don't have a clue that thousands
This
of
to
dollars
you.
was just put in on this, or that pretty much people are using the fact that they know that people ain't coming to these community engagements for their own little personal engagements, for all their other buddies to come and hook up with them and say,
Right.
"Look, we all met up as the community." No, you didn't reach the community. You just had a whole lot of bodies in the room that
Mm-hmm.
seem to obviously like you, follow you for whatever reason.
Right. Right. Right.
And I don't want bodies following me for whatever reason. That ain't the kind of leader I ever want to be. I
Me.
just, I want to be able to know as many leaders as I can know. I mean, that's my goal. And be able to pick whatever skills that they can lend me up, whatever skills I can give them back, and for us to show up and be on the same page and moving towards Black liberation, you
Right.
know, and that's my focus. Doesn't my first thing when I hear all these good ideas, whatever, they're gonna help. How's it gonna get us a Black liberation? Oh, okay, I'm cool with that. Because it's not one way,
Right.
and so and we got to respect that. Somebody might have a way that we might not quite understand, but it's their way. They got to do the work, just like we got to do the work.
Mm-hmm.
So most people want to govern the work that others are doing.
Me. You ain't doing it right.
No, but no, we can critique. Governing and critiquing is two different things. We can critique if we know that it's not making an impact. We can call it out and say, "Y'all
That's
been
what I do.
doing this.
Yeah, that's what I
Y'all
do.
been doing this and it's not making an impact.
It
You
ain't
might want to
working.
try something different." And they look like, no, because if we try something different, we might fix it and then we won't have no jobs. And
Right. Right. They gonna take our
so
funding because you trying to really educate the kids. The fuck? Really? Can't stand these people. I swear. It's hurt.
yeah, but I'm not even worried about those people anymore. I'm worried about the people who will help, who will be the underground railroad system with us, where we'll be working and they won't even know we're working and
Right.
moving all at the same time. Before you know it, would be like the Jack in the Box pop up little thing. You roll around so many times before you know it, everybody popping up. Boom! They're like,
Right?
whoa,
Like what the fuck? Where you come from? I'm Jack in the Box.
where?
You so silly.
Yeah, yeah. So that's what I want to see. I want to see um everybody just work in their shallows. It's okay to stay in your shallows. Just
No,
create a
it ain't.
click.
No, it ain't. No, it ain't. You know I
Yeah, it
hate
is.
that with a passion. I hate that with
No,
a passion. No,
everybody don't do it the same. I don't help.
because
Listen,
no,
everybody don't have the same position.
no,
Everybody don't have the
because
same position.
what you're going to do is come in our hoods with the shallow eyes, ears, and belief system, right?
Listen, okay. When I say
Now,
that, this is what I'm saying.
yeah, make it plain.
I've been 8 years on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really supposed to be behind a cubicle, lock up, nobody ever see me. All right,
Right.
making decisions for people. I should be somewhere doing that right now. Okay,
Thank you.
and so exactly. And so, with that being said, I'm not telling those people because guess what? I done went on all these adventures and they seen me go, and every time I done looped around and came back around, these people doing the same thing. So guess what? I've created somewhat of an underground railroad because they haven't unleashed themselves, and there are people willing to help in some kind of way, maybe not to the effect that I do. Again, I'm a black belt now,
Hmm.
so I can't expect for people to do it the same. So, I just have to appreciate whatever help or resources that they can help with. And do it from, like I said again, ain't nobody disconnecting to get around one leader. These are leaders coming together, and all you're doing is creating a link, just like any chain. And so you still your individual link, but you're gonna just link on with somebody else. You're gonna link and link, but you'll still be in your Shiloh. That's still yours. Nobody else is in you linked to somebody, but you got your own little Shiloh. So that's what I mean by Shiloh.
Okay.
And so I'm saying it's acceptable as long as you got a link. No, you can't just stay in a Shiloh and not do nothing. But if you got a link and you're making some kind of impact, whether it's a big one or a little one, as long as it's one, because I've seen people get millions of dollars and ain't doing jack. So, um, people that are in key positions, if they say, "Oh, I can let this happen," or let this happen and get us a little bit closer, I'm appreciative for it, because this is a movement, and a movement is just that. You gotta respect what contribution people want to put in, because it's it's all about who it's all about the people and their move. And you can't tell them, oh, your move not good enough. At least they move, because there's a whole lot that won't move. So
Right.
I can respect the ones that will move a little, if not a lot. And that's why I say they can't lead me though. So, nah, if you moving little, you better get the hell out in front of me for
Get the
real.
hell out the way. I'm gonna run your ass
Uh-uh.
over.
Nah, uh-uh. So
Woo.
don't get in front of me trying to move a little bit and try to block things. But if you be on the side and your little bit throw, and everything is still propelling, I'm fine with that. But don't try to block nothing.
Right.
And so that's what I've seen happen, and that I'm not standing for.
Well, if I could have my wish or my way, I would have the mothers in Chicago,
Mhm.
Ferguson, St. Louis,
Mhm.
Boston, Ohio,
Mhm.
every hood throughout America, and just unify and rise up. And this
What
game
you
over.
think we doing? What you think we're trying to do with the 500 black women?
Oh, that's okay because when I get out of Facebook jail for that one day, I'm gonna hurry up and hashtag them all in every state.
Yeah, yeah, that's exactly. And they get scared. And like I said, I have definitely deep connections in Georgia now, which Georgia been like all over the radar at this
Right.
point with
Hmm.
these elections the last about 3-4 years now. So
Right.
everybody waiting for Stacey Abrams to come back, but
She ain't
my
going over. She ain't coming nowhere.
yeah, my contacts saying they're not sure if she's gonna run for governor. So
She
um
ain't.
I mean, she may. I don't know. Somebody might put the pressure on her, but that's how we're gonna be able to finish what we started. We need somebody that's got a name brand like her to help push the rest of them. But I don't know. I worked so hard back in 2019, and
Uh huh.
looking at the Savannah City Council, I'm like, man, what we do? We ain't do nothing. Like,
Right.
because when you replace the council, what you forget to think about is all that damn rotten staff. They the ones doing the rotten work.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you got a city manager that's indebted to one or two people versus the entire council, then you can't put the pressure on them to put the pressure on the staff. It's just retarded, man. So
Exactly.
um and I'm just like, okay, so I'm off of Facebook. I actually deleted the app off my thing. I ran into some keys today, and I posted a picture of my many keys through all these years. And nobody don't understand what I've been doing. Everybody probably think, oh, Terry lost her mind because she should have been long gone by now, right?
Uh huh.
But overall, I know I have a story, and I'm going to capitalize off that story. That's why I got off Facebook. I'm like, I need to really be dedicated to writing because I'm going to have a more stern schedule. schedule.
Right.
So, I'll have me my free goose things regularly because I got so much in me to share. And so,
Uh-huh.
it is what it is. I don't know. I got spacey brain again.
You old. So
Not old as you. I'm baby comparing to you.
you right.
And like I told my husband, this is the last birthday I age. I will be 43 for a long time from here on out.
I
So,
remind you.
because next year I'm turning 43. The year after that I'm turning 43. I'm
I'm like,
not
see,
turning
now
another
you sound
age.
like you went to East Side,
What
the
you
slow
mean?
school, the slow school.
Ooh, you know what? I'm not gonna challenge that because I didn't exactly, but that was where I was headed. But I didn't make it to East Side.
You
But I
smart.
would have went to East Side. Excuse you, coming out of Washington Park would have definitely been the school I went to.
Sad.
And y'all Lincoln people,
That's sad, man.
whatever. But I have siblings that went to both Lincoln and East Side. So,
I know which ones were the bright ones.
but I went to Lansdowne. Do that count?
I know thug
And
school.
Hawthorne.
That thug school.
I was no, it wasn't a thug school. Was our school a thug school?
Lansdowne. God, that was the most fighting school ever.
Really?
That it was known for fighting. Now,
I don't think I got in a fight.
see, it's conversations like this generation know nothing about the different schools, elementary, middle schools, and how we had our differences because of areas, but we weren't killing each other. You know what I'm saying? We
Mm-mm.
went to school, but we understood we was all District 189. You know, and I think
Well, we
that
had some games going on, but they were game. They were
they
game.
were not like what we seeing today. Nothing like what we were seeing. We
That's
had more
because they
of the
got what they
community.
call in hybrid games.
No, we had
Well,
adults.
we
We
also
had
got
adults
some.
unafraid of these kids. And when they said don't,
That's what I'm talking about with the. Yeah.
so I mean, yeah,
Yeah, and we have a brain drain of people that could be positive role models too. I mean, we don't have
true.
teachers living in the community no more. People don't work and live in the community that can give them a more positive outlook of reality for real. So they go
I
to
do it on a
what's
daily
their
basis in
reality.
school.
Well, I'm just saying these kids still. I mean, school is reaching them one way, but somebody got to reach them in these streets and mean it for real
True. And
because
I like
they
when they
don't
mean it.
know. They really couldn't know. They couldn't know. And my thing is because if this was normal, it wouldn't just happen within the black community like it happens. And I know that the white community has suicide at a higher rate than the gun violence we see with our youth.
We ain't never had suicide like this ever. We haven't
Yeah.
because we had control over our kids. Now people listen to that word and internalize that word so differently, because look who's teaching our kids, look who
Mm.
they're living around. But control means, first of all, you are a child and you can not know more than an adult. You just can't. Whereas those other people, children have always seemingly known more than their adults, and look at their history. Okay. So it once again, we're gonna have to get back to not only community but educating this generation of the why.
Mhm.
Whereas we weren't. We was just told what to do, and you knew
Mhm.
not to question. This generation want to say, "Well, tell me why." I tell you that shit. I wish you would ask me again too. I'm gonna say this: you gonna listen and keep it moving, because now I see why they did and said what they did. I gotta come home and answer to a kid and take what America give me too.
Wait, hold on. Well, teenagers are only 102 years old right now. So, are
Okay,
they really
they
kids?
about
Them
to
used
be
to be grown
extinct.
folks. Them used to be grown folks before
True,
desegregation and all of that for real.
you're right. They were, but
Eh,
I mean, like I said, I still feel that. once we enlighten them on the whys, why we had to, it was a necessity of them not, giving you the same, I guess, what you felt like you missed. Because what we want to do is get out and see how other families are doing, how they talk to their kids, and we missed that, or we wasn't treated like humans. Now we living in America, you free but you die. I mean, come on, this make it make sense, and it
Well,
don't.
well, the standard America, that's the normalcy of society that says that, when you achieve those different things, then you have achieved the American dream. And that's what most of our people spend time focusing on, trying to
The
get
American
something
dream.
first.
Well, American dream is that you build this motherfucking country. Now they killing you because they have no need for you because you did everything.
You
Black
know
folks
what
have
we
did
don't we
everything.
don't we don't venture off into current affairs, and we really need to talk about this
Yes.
vaccine. This vaccine. Okay,
Ye-
so now you know that they're mandating the mask again starting Monday.
Yep. Oh, mine have not come off.
Okay,
I've
and
been wearing mine.
so, but they told people if they got this vaccine, then they can go back to normal. So people are
Oh,
mad about that.
I told my children, I said, you see them fights that they having on these airplanes? Oh, watch those who bought into it and got vaccinated, and then somebody asked them where your mask at. It's finna be hella shit going on in this country. Watch. And the most violent people are the ones that got the vaccination. Oh, you take them out right away? They finna have ass. And I'll be right in the house looking
Yeah,
like,
I heard that. I was just like, then
yep.
they, talking about that their first set of it is wearing off or something like that. The numbers going up. I heard Missouri is really bad, as far as like leading number one in the cases spreading or whatever. But you know,
Okay, let me say this to you. I'm also reminded of, once again, my old dude, Malcolm X, who says the media is the most powerful entity. And when you start thinking about just what they replay over and over again, especially when it comes to St. Louis, but they never ever play education malpractice. Why is that? Why are you allowed to criminalize poverty? Why our kids don't see counselors inside the schools to deal with their grief and trauma and PTSD? They don't play those things over and over. They don't even ask.
because it's easier to misdiagnose them with the ADHD and all that, so that
Because that's tied up with money too, and the
pharmaceuticals
criminal
can make
justice system.
money.
Oh,
Yeah, you make more
gotcha,
money. You make more
gotcha.
money with the medicating, with the extra doctor that you refer out, with the counselor in place. So it do
So,
be a counselor.
so
She just don't do all the work.
that would be a good reason why they don't want to touch critical race theory, because all these damn systems interconnect. Oh, gotcha. Thank you for bringing it
And
out.
like I said to you earlier about critical race theory, if critical race theory is the original curriculum that was used over 200 years ago
Uh,
for abolitionists, then
Learning,
they definitely don't want to create more abolitionists with this curriculum being in their school, because
but it seems like a lot of the younger people want the truth.
yeah, and
They
that's what they
literally want
scared of. They already seen abolitionists without the curriculum. Imagine.
right, yeah, and I'm all for
And
it.
that's how we'll get rid of it once and for all. That's how white supremacy will know that you can't keep playing these stupid games. We all the same,
Yep. No,
you
we not.
know.
We're not all the same. Don't say that.
We not. We're all a part of God's body. No, I'm just playing. Human race. I'm gonna
It's
say.
not a religious show. No, we're not a.
Listen, this is you talking to an outreach pastor. You talking to a Christ highlighter. So, like I said, I enjoy my clique. I
Did you
do. I
say
have fun.
Christ
I'm looking
highlighter?
for.
What the hell?
We
What is a
already
Christ
playing.
highlighter?
You'll see. I'm already playing. We already planned what we doing after church tomorrow. That's what I'm saying. I love my clique. So we go do Jesus together. We go eat together. And then we do some more Jesus, and you know, ain't nothing wrong with doing Jesus as much as you can. It's better than doing all the other bad stuff. I
Who
mean, I
said
was
it was bad?
rejecting it at first.
Who said it was bad? You?
I never got to do it, so of course it's bad. Like
You
I'm
grown
telling
now.
you, like the
You
one
grown.
time, no, one time I went to the club. Um, when I was younger, the guy came and tapped on me. I mean, I wasn't in there a good 5 minutes and asked, "What was I doing in there?" I guess I was that sore of a thumb, like I was sticking out like a sore thumb. So and then 3 people got killed that night. A couple of
That
hours
was
later.
enough for you. Like, I'm good.
Yep, it was at what was that place? Nah, I don't want to call nobody name and it'd be wrong. But dang, I can't even think of the name of it now. That's how long ago. I'm getting old. What happened to
I see
my
the gray.
20s? What happened to my 20s? Jesus, I can't even remember that stuff now. It's so long ago.
Well, I mean, mine kind of like yours at Skate King, and they got the shooting. And I had Well, I have 3 cousins who went skating religiously. But my mom was a little strict, so I think it's like around a Christmas holiday or something. My mama let me go to the skating rink with my cousins. And one of my cousins, her name is Carmelita Williams. I think I think she broke like one of Jackie records. She did something of that magnitude, but the girl outran everybody. And I was like, y'all do this shit every Saturday? Never. And I ain't never been back again. I'm good.
Hmm.
I do other sitting stuff. I don't do that stuff.
I don't blame. I don't blame you. So,
Right. I'm not gonna act like God don't know, so he might as well just go and do it. Shit. He know. He looking at me.
you think God know?
They say he everywhere. So he see. So yeah,
Really?
he does. Do I care? Nope. Because he already know.
He's
It's pointless.
omnipresent. Yes, God is
Well,
omnipresent.
it's pointless to care. Because if he already know and he's there, you fooling you.
All
Never
right. So what's the takeaways of this show? We got about maybe 3 minutes left. Not even 3 minutes.
Okay.
We're on our 58 minute.
Well, the takeaway is let's start a Afrocentric school. That would be wonderful.
Okay,
What's up,
so then
family?
that's our ultimate goal. Yeah, that's my I guess that's my little brother back in Savannah. Yeah,
Hey, fam.
he's the one that actually told me to start this. So he just came on. I just talked to him
Woo-hoo.
like last week, and he
Okay.
knew. He knew. He just found out about it. So
Okay.
I'm excited. So anyway, just kind of wrap it up. What I want to do. I want to be able to help start that school with you. Um,
Okay.
That'll be one of our ultimate long-term goals. Obviously, it's going to take money and a whole lot of other processes to go through. Not as many as we would do if we were a public school, obviously. But you know, outside of that, we still have to build that parent group. So again, I want to
Right.
start really focusing on that 25 and us getting on the ground and meeting people. We already know people. That's one thing.
Right.
But we need to meet uniquely people that share the same passion as us. And I think we can move a lot quicker than just have it only people we know.
Sure.
So be able to really seek out those people for those opportunities that you and I can give them, that we know we can give them, and
Right.
be able to create and show the others where once we set that precedence high, then they're going to have to go higher. You get what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah.
All right. All right. So that's our show. And we want to thank everyone that did peep in and join us. We know that we're just starting, but things are going to do nothing but get better and better from here. Thank you for joining us. Remember to subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and you have a good day. I'm Tavi.
I'm
That's
Marty.
Mar. That's Marty, and we out of here.
See ya.
All right.